Yo guys, it's your boy Antos and welcome back to AnimeWaffle. And you guys might be wondering, well obviously wondering, where the hell have you been? I thought this was like a weekly thing on a Sunday. Where's the weekly Sunday videos been at? Because they ain't been here. So what I can say is I'm sorry guys, can't lie, last few weeks I've been busy, I can't lie. I was in Portugal like 2 weeks ago. And I planned to do a weekly waffle video in Portugal, right? I thought it'd be nice to sing in Portugal, where I was staying like the nice sun, the nice view, but unfortunately things happened and I couldn't do it. And then a week later, right, I was in Hungary in Budapest and again planned to do a weekly waffle on that Sunday in Budapest, but again I lacked and I couldn't get it done, which is very unfortunate because I really wanted to do weekly waffle there. But I'm here now. The boys back. I've just been traveling, stuff's been going on, and yeah, I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched a lot of anime as well. I'll be real, I have not watched a lot of anime. I know when I made my last video, we're really coming towards the end of the current anime season with a lot of animes ending. But yeah, man, I don't even know what to say. Like, yeah. Welcome back to Weekly Waffle. Let's get straight into the video. Alright, so to start off with, I was able to actually finish Fire Force yesterday. And I'm gonna miss Fire Force, I can't lie. Besides the fan service, but I'm gonna miss Fire Force. I think it was a really good series. I started watching Fire Force like a year ago. I think when season 3 was announced is when I started watching Fire Force. I love the overall concept of Fire Force, how so many different characters like have so many like fire abilities and they're so different and unique. Right, or heat. It's more like heat abilities than fire, but yeah, I think season 3 part 2 was rushed. I think we can all tell that a lot of stuff feels rushed. And I'm not someone that's a manga reader, so I don't even know what was rushed and what wasn't rushed. But it definitely felt like it was rushed. I know David Productions had to animate like 80 something chapters in like 12, 30 episodes, so it wasn't easy. But at the end of the day, I think they did a pretty good job. I can't lie, with those final 2 Fire Force episodes, I was able to see finally the boy Shinra Bancho, man. People have been hyping up Shinra Bancho, man, is one of the strongest characters in anime. He can beat this and that character, and we saw it. The brother created his own reality, created his own gods as well, and it was a really nice sight, seeing Shinra, Sho, and their mum. We finally saw their mum, and what was wild to me, right, is when I was watching this, they didn't make a big deal about it though. Shimmer's mum was the flipping doppelganger of the evangelist. Obviously, I get things were rushed, but that was quite a big statement to put in there. I feel like we just glossed over it, But I guess at the end of the day, the whole season was rushed, so there's not much they could do. They fit in everything as fast and as efficient as they possibly did, and they did a good job. But that's something I just remembered, like Bro's mum was legit the doppelganger of the evangelist. But it was great seeing Shima Bancho, man. I thought that transformation was done very well, very well. I thought it animated very well, very crisply as well. And the whole fight between Shinra and Hamiya, who then like fused with the evangelist, it wasn't really a fight. It was more of like a discussion, to be fair. Like there wasn't really much fighting going on. It was like as soon as Bro went into Shinra Bancho, man, there was barely any fists or kicks actually thrown between him or them and Hamiya, But at the end, as we saw, Shimon created his own reality without despair, a new world where everyone, can't even really die like that. And, the fear of this despair is taken away. And, Shimmer's got 2 kids now, one with Inca and one with Sister Iris. After Inca was begging, bro, to have his kids. A bit weird, but, but it was good, Also, shout out Arthur, man. Arthur Boyle, man, is a goated character, man. Like, I really like Arthur, the whole thing with the dragon, Excalibur, and what happened to Excalibur in the end is funny. Like it's like a talking like dog kind of like thing, like the sword went from being a sword to having a conscience to now it's some sort of like pet now, which is quite insane to me. But shout out Arthur Boyle, man. Probably when I look at all things, probably one of my favorite That's what I'm gonna hate to pronounce, but gerontologist. Like secondary main character. Sasuke, Zoro, Vegeta. In that category, I really like Waffle. Waffle's a cool character, but in the end, Shimmer created new worlds, and in the end, I'm not fully tapped into like the lore of Soul Eater, but I'm gonna assume what we saw in the epilogue was like an introduction to the Soul Eater characters, or like an Easter egg. So I feel like now that I've completed Fire Force, unless there's like any sort of signs of like a Soul Eater remake coming out soon, I think Soul Eater is going to be next on the agenda in terms of animes I'm going to start watching, which is very interesting. But overall, Fire Force, man, I love Fire Force. Honestly, I love Fire Force. It's a shame with the whole fan service things. I think it did put me off a bit, and I understand why it puts a lot of people off as well. At the end of the day, I don't think it's necessary. I know there's a whole plot of Tamaki and stuff like that, but let's be honest with you, I really wouldn't have cared if there was that whole fan service ship wasn't part of it. Like, I don't think it wasn't necessary at the end of the day. But Five was a great series, man. I really enjoyed it. And it's a shame that it got rushed, but for what we got, I think David Productions did a really good job. And I'm gonna miss watching Fire Force, man. It's a really good series. It's a really good series, But yeah, legit. Yeah, just now, before making this video, I legit watched the final episode of Sentenced to Be a Hero, and you know what? Yeah, I've had my opinions on Sentenced to Be a Hero. Like, one thing I want to get onto is animation or art style. I love both of those two things. I think the plot at times has been a bit hot and cold with me, but maybe that's down to me not fully engaging with the story. He likes reading comprehension, but this episode of Sentenced to Be a Hero was, it was really good. I don't want to start making comparisons or start tearing it, but it was a really good episode, bro. Kivia, the scene with Kivia and her uncle was incredible. I mean, just so gory, bro. Like, flipping out. I mean, I know they hold back in the show, right? But flip her neck, man. Well, she just stabbed her uncle, bro, right in the neck, bro. It was very, gruesome. And she kept going in and in. Obviously, she was in a rage, Her uncle had just killed one of her flipping holy knights. That whole scene, of her uncle, Kivia finding out that, he's working with the coexisters, yeah? And that broke her heart because her uncle is like her idol, like her uncle raised her, and to see that scene, her uncle was fully gonna blast her as well, by the way, like, because her flipping knight got flipping blown to smithereens, yeah, like, it was mad. Her uncle was gonna do that to her, but she clutched up. I mean, she did clutch up, but her flipping holy knight saved her. So shout out that guy, the blonde guy, shout out him. And then she lost it, bro. I mean, valid crash out, very, 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 very valid crash out, But that death of her uncle was gruesome. Like, there were like two gruesome deaths, just back to back, boom, boom. But then obviously she got found, and now Kivia went to jail, prison, whatever you want to call it, and things ain't looking too good for her. And then we see that there's another goddess. Now, I know there's a lot of goddesses in the show, but we see this goddess, right? And the goddess and the guy, her chosen knight, whatever you want to call it, right, offers Kivia the opportunity. She either die, rot away and die, or become a hero. And Kivia has chosen to become a hero with the power of that goddess, right? And this is crazy because obviously Xylo, we know that Kivia has a crush on Xylo, Xylo being a hero, and there was that dynamic between the commander of the 13th Squadron of the Holy Knights and Xylo, who was literally a notorious hero. That was the dynamic. And now Kivia is going to become a hero as well, so I wonder how that's going to look. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. And unfortunately, it had to end off on that flipping cliffhanger, of her basically killing herself. I'm going to assume she's going to become a hero now, and I really want to know what that looks like. Like, what does the dynamic between Kivia and Xylo look like now that they're both on the same level? Kivia coming from like a family of priests and nobles, being like the leader of her squadron, of the 13th Squadron of the Holy Knights, to now being a hero. I want to see it, and final episodes like these make me want to, get into the manga, Like, I don't know when season 2 is going to come around, but I don't know if I can wait. But, Sentenced to Be a Hero, very hot and cold in regards to the story and stuff like that. But I think this episode was really good. And yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. I want more. I want more. The episode left me wanting more, ending on that cliffhanger. But overall, I mean, I think it was a good season, a really good season to be fair. And I just want more of it to be fair. So yeah, in my little break, I'd say, you know, being in Portugal, being in Hungary, I was able to watch the final episode of Hell's Paradise. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't tell you like a lot what happened in it. What I know is that, Shingen and his lot are on the island, we see Gaimara and the main cast are here, and the Tencent are obviously here as well. It's like a three-way thing, like three different factions fighting, and it didn't end on like a cliffhanger or like an end note. Legit just ended mid-fight, Gaimara is fighting, he's gonna fight the Tencent again. So we're gonna see how that goes. I mean, again, I want this to come back. I really enjoyed season 2 as well. House Paradise, really liked it a lot. I don't know when bro's gonna meet his wife. I don't know how long that will take. I don't know, at season 7, season 8. I'm binging out, but it seems like from where we're at now, we're not even close to getting like any sort of answers of how bro's gonna find his wife. But that's what I can really say about Hell's Paradise, to be honest with you. And finally, an anime that has come back after 5 years of me watching it. My favorite anime ever, Ace of Diamond, also known as Diamond Ace, has come back, and with its final season, and I'm so happy. I'm delighted. I've watched the first 3 episodes, and it's been incredible. A lot of people don't know it's anime, even though it's mad popular in Japan, to be fair, but I ain't in Japan, so yeah, it's a baseball anime. When I tell you guys, it has everything you'd want from a show. Like, it's got the psychological warfare, obviously, baseball being a very psychological driven sport. Hella drama involved, hella comedy, hella action, even a bit of romance in there as well if you want that, I think for me, I won't get too much into talking about Time in the Waste because I'm going to release a video on Wednesday getting into the specifics of why it means so much to me, but it has everything that I would want from a show. But yeah, that's legit what I've been watching, So now that the winter or the early 2026 anime season is now over, great season of anime, I still have Frieren that I'm gonna watch. I was like, you know what, yeah, I prefer the dub of Frieren. I'll be honest, I prefer the dub of Frieren, and I'm gonna watch that. So I'm gonna do a whole review of the whole Frieren season 2. I think it's worth a whole episode of me just simply reviewing, on YouTube. And yeah, it's new season, we're into spring now. I don't know what to watch. I've been watching before my little break hiatus. I was watching To Be Hero X, after the gym every single session. I'll be talking more about that sooner rather than later. Obviously, Ace of Diamonds, Aoashi. You guys don't know, I love Aoashi as well, which will come back very soon. Soul Eater is on the horizon, and as I mentioned so many times, One Piece, the manga reactions are coming. No more nonsense. They are coming now. But yeah, man, that was me, man. Back with Weekly Waffle. No more flipping breaks, bro. This is a every Sunday series, You'll be getting Weekly Waffle every Sunday. So yeah, guys, I'm back, Please like the video, comment below, comment anything to do with anime, what anime are you watching, what anime are you looking forward to watching, what's up, innit? Follow my TikTok and my Instagram, link in bio, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you guys for watching. Peace! I legit had to record this video twice because for whatever reason, right, my first time recording it, right, my flipping microphone wasn't even working. So I was going through the whole video talking to a flipping microphone that wasn't even working. But, thankfully, I'd hope that the microphone obviously is working now because you guys can hear me, right? But yeah, man. Peace.